everybody, and welcome to the next in my series of first listens to classic albums. And today we are listening to U2's The Joshua Tree. So where am I at with U2? I like a lot of U2 songs. I don't see what makes them so special that makes them widely regarded as the biggest band on the planet. I don't get what it is. I don't like Bono as a person. I think he's a knob, basically. I haven't done it ever since Live Aid. When he did that stupid thing when he spent half a set getting down to pick a girl to dance with, and just seemed so obnoxious and self-centered, and made it all about himself, which that day wasn't about. But yeah, I like a lot of their songs. I have they bought the two greatest hits decades albums. I think it was 1980 to 1990, 1991 to 2000, or whatever it was. I've got the second one of those that I picked up in a charity shop. I will get the first one when I find it. I've got the album that they stuck on everybody's iTunes. Not sure I've ever listened to it. I've got a few odd tracks here and there. Then I picked up Rattle and Hum in a charity shop end of last year, I think it was, which was okay. As an album it doesn't really work, but as a soundtrack album it works. But whereas a mixture of live tracks and studio tracks doesn't really work as an album, I find. Sorry, I've just been distracted by my kitten. But yeah, overall, I would say I like U2, but I'm not a big fan of U2. This copy I bought pre-loved from... I expect you can hear all that. Excuse me a second. Where was I? Yes, so this copy I bought pre-loved from a slice of vinyl. This was recommended to me by somebody to put on the list. I'll say who on the screen. Sorry, I haven't remembered. I forgot to check beforehand. But I've had so many suggestions. I sort of know half of this album because pretty much, well, 4 of the first 5 tracks were singles. Well, 4 of the first 4, in fact. Where the Streets Have No Name, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. With or Without You and Bullet for Blue Sky. All tracks I know, particularly the first 3. All tracks I like. But will it overshadow the album? Knowing those first few, we shall see. But yes, this is my copy. I think this is an original pressing. Can't remember. It's going to be noisy, I think, looking at it, but it shouldn't stick or anything like that. So yeah, let's give it a listen, see what I like. Okay, so what did I think of The Joshua Tree? Before I begin, I forgot to show you this when I was showing you my copy. It contained the lyric postery type thing, which has clearly been on somebody's wall at some point. Okay, so it starts with When the Streets Have No Name, a classic song, a great song, great intro, where it just builds. My only gripe with it is that it's one of those tracks where Bono's vocals are very yelpy. But otherwise, great song. Then that roll continues. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. The guitar is very similar to Streets. I think it was this album that, I might be wrong, but the Edge had invented for him what they call, I think, the Infinity guitars, is it? Infinite guitar. Which he uses a hell of a lot on this album and has done ever since, I think. It's that distinctive U2 guitar sound, the chimey guitar sound. To this day, I don't know if the Edge is a good guitar player, because his guitars are so swathed in effects. So I don't know how much is him and how much is the effects. But But yes, that sound is also throughout. I still haven't found what I'm looking for, but despite that, it's a great song. Then we go into With or Without You. Again, another great song. Really nice bass line to it. Bono's probably his best vocals on the album. Probably. Just really good song, the way it builds throughout the song. Really like With or Without You. Then we go to Bullet the Blue Sky, which I said in the first half was a single. It wasn't, my mistake. But I know it from the Rattle and Hum version, and it's just a well-known song in their catalogue. I loved Bullet the Blue Sky. Sorry, I've done a lot of talking this morning. Really strong drum and bass throughout. The way the guitar's used for atmosphere is really strong. It reminds me a lot of Rage Against the Machine, especially at the end where he gets into the speaky bit. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah, really like Bullet the Blue Sky. Then side one ends with Running to Stand Still, which is a more simple song. Quite, for about the first 2/3, it is just an acoustic song, basically. Guitar and vocals. And then about 2/3 of the way through, the drums come in and it builds. Again, strong vocals from Bono. A strong song. So, first side is up there, one of the best sides of vinyl that I've heard, to be honest. Really enjoyed side one. Side two starts with Red Hill Mining Town. Bono gets a bit yelpy again. The chiming guitars are there again. But it's sort of in a similar vein to the first couple of songs, but it's not as good. It struck me that it could be a Simple Minds song from that era, which isn't a bad thing. I like Simple Minds. But it's just a bit formulaic, as a song that there's a few bands from that era who could have done, and it just wasn't great. It was okay, just wasn't great. That continues with In God's Country, the second track on side two, which to me felt a bit U2 by numbers. Drum and bass was good, but the guitars, it was more of the same, with vocals were more of the same. I was getting a bit fed up with it by then. Then we got to Trip Through Your Wires. Yeah, that's what I wrote down, but it didn't read right. Trip Through Your Wires. It's a nice change of pace. It was good bluesy backing. But again, the guitar, he's using that effect. It was a bluesy song. It would have done with some nice blues guitar on it, but it was just chimey edge guitars again. Good harmonica, which I think Bono played, if I remember reading. Is it on here? It must have been on me, but I'm pretty certain Bono was playing the harmonica. Very strong, and good vocals from him as well. Yeah, a decent tune. I liked it. It sort of struck me that it was something Delamitri could quite easily have done, and that's not a bad thing. I like Delamitri. Then we went on to One Tree Hill, which musically I really liked. It was good funky backing. What this album has made me really appreciate is the members of a band with proper names. Larry and Adam are really the heart of U2. There were fewer effects on the guitar on this, so I liked that. What does that say? But then the melody used for the vocals didn't. I mean, it worked with the backing, but I think the backing deserved a better melody. It was quite an average melody. So, yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that. And then at the end, when it faded out and came back a bit synthy and a bit gospel-y, but that just, again, didn't really do anything. It seemed tacked on at the end. Then we went to Exit, which, unfortunately, as I predicted, my copy was quite noisy, and Exit starts really quietly and builds through the song. I liked it. I think I would have liked it more on a really good pressing. It did remind me of a Nick Cave song. I thought, it's the sort of thing, where it slowly builds, and even vocally it was sort of Bono's version of Nick Cave. I'm not saying they were trying to copy Nick Cave, and Nick Cave in '86 wasn't much of a thing, but it's just, you know, similar style. So yeah, I think a decent copy. I'd have liked that. And finally we had Mothers of a Disappeared. It was a nice atmospheric closer. I spent most of the song trying to remind me what the vocal melody reminded me of, and I think it's Christmas in Heaven by Monty Python. There's just something about it that I was desperately trying to recognise, and I'm pretty certain that's what it is. Yeah, as I say, it's a good atmospheric closer, but overall the second side was a bit of a letdown after how good the first side was. You know, but when I got to the end of the first side, I thought, well, if the second side's like this, I'm going to completely change my opinion of U2. But it wasn't, and it didn't. As I say, my biggest problem with them, apart from not liking Bono as a person and when he gets yelpy in his vocals, is the Edge's guitars. You know, as somebody who loves guitar music, I just don't know how good a guitarist he is, because it's all effects. You know, and even on the tracks where he's not using the effects so much, it's mainly rhythm. You know, he's not a showy, solo-y guitarist, which is fine. But, you know, it's not even complicated rhythms, and it's all very much the same rhythm, really. You know, it's just a changa 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 changa. There's very little variation. But, as I say, first half of this, fantastic. Second half, not so much. It's nothing on there terrible. Does it deserve to be a classic album? I don't know, to be honest. As I say, if it was all like the first half, sorry, just knocking the tripod. If it was all like the first half, then yes, easily a classic album. I think its reputation is built on that first half. Its reputation is built on those singles. I'm not sure I would regard it as a classic. It's a good album. As I say, half of it is fantastic, but not sure it deserves to be a classic. As for U2, I would, as I say, if I find a copy of the first half of the greatest hits, I will get that. Let me know, what other U2 albums do I need to listen to? You know, I can think of there's probably another couple that are probably considered classics. Yeah, let me know, and then I might, depending on what the albums you suggest are, I might stick them in this series, or I might just mention them in passing, or I might just wait until I review them. But yeah, I want to know if there's more U2 that I need to listen to. You know what I mean. Anyway. But other than that, please, suggestions for classic albums to listen to for this series. So classic albums, not your favourite albums, not your favourite album by a particular artist. I want albums that are widely considered classics. So those are on lists of classic albums by reputable magazines, websites, etc. Any genre, I will take your recommendations. I will try and find them, and I've already got quite a few to listen to add. I've done 4 this morning, but I've probably still got at least a dozen more to do as and when, probably more than that, thinking about it. But anyway, I'm waffling, as I tend to do at the end of these videos. Yeah, so suggestions please, either stick them in the comments below. You can message me on Instagram. My link to my Instagram is below, Martin's Music and Movies. You can go via my website, again, link below. We'll link you to my email, and again, you can contact me that way. But yeah, please do suggest. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.